You are about to listen to the Redhead Boy Podcast, available on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts from. Now enjoy the show.
Oh my God.
Pardon?
Oh no, Mrs. Robinson, oh no.
What's wrong?
Mrs. Robinson, you didn't expect.
What?
You didn't really think I'd do something like that.
Like what?
What do you think?
Well, I don't know.
For God's sake, Mrs. Robinson. Here we are, you got me into your house, you give me a drink, you put on music, now you start opening up your personal life to me and tell me your husband won't be home for hours.
So?
Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me. Aren't you?
Well, no, I hadn't thought of it. I feel very flattered.
Mrs. Robinson, will you forgive me for what I just said?
Hi guys, and it's Wednesday the 17th of March, and welcome to another episode of the Redhead Boy Podcast, hosted by me, Harry. Welcome everyone, and happy St. Patrick's Day, to be sure. I do the fight for free. If anybody feels like they need to hear a bit of an Irish accent, I 100% you go and check out Guy Ritchie's classic Snatch with Brad Pitt's amazing, thick Irish accent. So yeah, go check that one out. So today I have an amazing guest, an old acquaintance of mine, an old friend, I would call him now, to be fair, an old friend, an old teacher, an old mentor, and that is the super talented photographer and musician, leading man of the band Empty Trains, and it is Colin Zealey. I have Colin Zealey on the podcast today, and we're going to chat about life, about creativity, so we might as well dive into it right now.
Very sci-fi, yeah. What's that on? When it's just a head, it's probably Doctor Who or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. No.
How are you anyway?
Yes, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. You?
Excellent.
You?
Yeah, good. You seem to be doing well, keeping very busy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep myself busy, which is good. Have you been keeping yourself busy?
Yeah, well, I have been a bit ill as obviously last week. I've had a bit of a headache, which I've still got a little bit, but I'm much better.
Okay. All right, that's good.
I don't know if I had it when you were at Trelaws, but I used to.
Yeah, no, you did used to say
long
headaches
that don't go away. It's really, really frustrating.
Yeah, no, you said, I think a couple of times that you were prone to have migraines and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, but anyway, so I was having a nose on your Spotify. I had a listen to some bits of your.
Oh, did you? Oh,
thank
you. Every time I get a guest on, I'm like, have you listened to it? And then they go, oh, not really. So they didn't prep themselves.
And I didn't listen to all of them all the way through.
No. That's fine. I don't either. So, no, thank you so much for coming on. Yeah,
You're welcome. Good to see you.
I wanted to get you on for ages, so it's been.
Well, thank you for asking me.
It'd be good to catch up and everything. So this is just like a general conversation. There's no pressure or anything, and things, stuff like that. But yeah. So you've been keeping yourself busy with. Tell me what you've been up to, like recently. What you've been up to?
I am probably too busy. That's possibly why I get so many headaches. But I'm busy teaching photography, and I also am doing my own photography and art projects. And I'm also doing music, which I have 2 different music projects about. So not surprising I'm getting headaches, but yeah, so pretty busy.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, no, I've been seeing like loads of your stuff that you've been doing and stuff like that. So let's go back to the beginning. And this is my presenter head on now. I just want to talk about, like, when you were younger, was the creative field like the first thing like you knew that straight away? Like, tell me about that.
Depends how far you go back. When I was a child, I was really into sports. I love cars, and then something changed when I was about 12 years old. And I suppose I discovered music. And I have always been into art. I've loved art since nursery school, and even before that, I was drawing. And I've always, from a very young age, loved music and art, and wanted, if at all possible, to be involved with both of them. And it's a bit annoying because I can't choose one or the other. It has to be both, and it's always been like that with me.
Yeah.
But I've managed to, be busy doing both things over the years. Sometimes not as much as I would have liked, but currently doing them much more. And obviously teaching art and photography is nice to be back, be in that place and be talking about creative ideas and art and photography stuff. So yes, but it all changed for me when I was 12, from being a sporty little boy who liked cars to someone who didn't really do sport or wasn't very interested in sport anymore. And decided to be interested in other things, and it's basically art, general arts. I would say.
Yeah.
I'm not just interested in sort of fine art, and when I say music, it's all kinds of music, but it's I suppose it's generally alternative. I suppose it's popular music, isn't it? But it's slightly alternative. But
experimental sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, I've always liked music that is both accessible but experimental at the same time. And it's not always possible to fuse those two things together successfully, but we're having a go, trying to squeeze in a few little cheeky experimental ideas here and there. And our process of songwriting is becoming more experimental, partly because we're the band, the main band, as you know, Empty Trains, and we're all working remotely at the moment because we're in lockdown. Hopefully that will be changing soon. We'll be back in our studio, which has just moved. Our studio is based at Hedge, our drummer's house. He's just moved house. He's got a much bigger dedicated studio room now, which will be set up with his full drum kit and everything the whole time. So that'd be lovely.
Oh, cool! That sounds exciting. To get into a new space and try out new things and start playing about together as a group again.
So we're still able to contribute to songs, and we're trying to complete a version of one song. It might not be the final version because it is quite difficult to do it completely remotely. It doesn't feel or sound quite the same when it's done remotely, I don't think. But it'd be good to get into Hedge's new studio. I haven't even seen it properly. I've only seen it on video, on WhatsApp video or something, but he's given us a little tour of his new house. It looks fantastic. Oh. So it's still nearby. He did actually live around the corner from me, but he's now about half an hour walk, short drive away.
Okay, so. Cool. That's nice. That's nice.
And Rebecca was in Farnham as well. We're all from Farnham, but she's recently moved to Basingstoke with her man. So we're all quite near. I think
that's good. That's good. So you guys can like annoy each other and show up on each other's doors and be like, I got this idea, or phone them up and be like, I got this idea.
It's all on our WhatsApp group at the moment. I've got to be honest with you. But it's been for everyone else. It's been very annoying not being able to meet up and play. We were doing very regular sessions every Saturday, and just having a jam, making up new ideas, and trying out some of my new lyrics. I'm head of lyrics at the moment. I have been for most of the time. Well, all the time with Empty Trains, but I've got another little project on the go as well, which I don't think you know about. Actually, do you? Actually, you probably do. Because we did release. It was basically a remix of an Empty Train song, so it's a bit confusing. But it's a Dogful is the name of it, and it's me. I don't know if you.
Yeah.
We've only released one track, And that is me and a very old friend of mine, Steve Felby, who currently lives in Sydney.
Nice.
And we've it's a bit of a side project, and he can't commit to it full time, and obviously nor can I. But we've been in bands over the years and hardly get to see him apart from when he can get over here, which hasn't been for a while, but normally gets over once every year or once every other year, which is nowhere near enough. But we are now able to still collaborate on our music stuff. So he's really in charge of the music and I'm in charge of the singing mostly, but I do play a bit of bass and guitar when required. But it's a lot more electronic and synth based. But recent discussions, we've decided to try and mash it up a bit more, so it's a fusion of synthesizers and guitars as well. So hopefully going to be releasing our first EP in the summer.
So exciting.
We've got about 6 tracks on the go at the moment, but it's just they're not anywhere near completion. But hopefully we'll be by then.
Oh, cool! That sounds really exciting. So, will that be under the will that be under a different name to the band?
Yeah, that won't be that first track that we released. Well, it was a Dogful kind of reimagining of an Empty Train's old song, which we'd never actually properly released. But all the other stuff will be just brand new songs, so that'll be just Dogful. And yeah, I've been writing loads of song ideas and lyrics and things. So some of them I think, well, who should I give them? Should we use these for Empty Trains or Dogful? Sometimes it's a bit confusing to know. So I'd sometimes just play them to whoever I think might be more interested in, and if they don't like it, then I might play it to the other one. So it's nice. Yeah. It's nice to have the option, and I've got quite a lot of songs to choose from at the moment. So
cool. Yeah, I guess it's nice to have like different avenues that you can take it with. Either try it with, as you said, try it with that person, or try it with the other person, and see which person feels more connected on it, or likes it the most, or
exactly, because different people have different opinions about what could be done with it, or what I think of it. So it's nice to have the option, and I doubt I'll ever get the time, but if neither of them neither of the projects are interested in some of them that I particularly like, I have got the option of releasing some stuff solo as well, but I doubt I'll ever get around to that anytime soon. It's not quite busy.
You're probably like giving yourself way too much. I have to say that to myself, because I've like recently got into like a creative groove and stuff like that. But I'm very much guilty of doing something for like 6 months, or getting really into it for like 6 months, and then like dropping off the face of the earth because I've done, because I've either burnt myself out, that my brain's been thinking like 24/7 about this and not taking a break from it, or I do it so much that I desperately need a break, and it ends up being like several months rather than a few weeks, or
like me on that front. It's a bit of slightly obsessive personality, or excitement or interest in what you're doing is not necessarily very healthy way of living, but it's
I 100% agree.
But I think it's good to get really into the project, isn't it? But it sometimes the detriment of one's health is not good. So are you writing at the moment, or
I shot yesterday. I shot for and directed my first thing since I graduated from film school. So it's just a short little monologue series. I've written 3, and they're centered around lockdown. And we shot the first one yesterday here.
Excellent. So fantastic. So very contemporary issues related, and
but each one sort of reflects the mental state that the actor's in at the time. I wanted to, because I'm not a precious writer and I'm not the best writer, so I like to get the person that's saying the words involved, because then it hopefully makes it better.
So it's a collaboration.
So each I've written 3, and we shot the first one yesterday, and each one sort of reflects the person that's acting them out and stuff. So yeah.
Brilliant.
And it was really good, to be fair. And my partner was very nice to let us come in for like 4 or 5 hours and shot it and stuff.
Oh, you did it at your place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I would always give that as a tip to anybody that wants to shoot anything. It'd be like, if you have access to a location, write something at that location. So
yeah, I've had a go at writing for short films, well, but it's never got finished. That's another project. I've got a friend of mine, old friend of mine, who's same age as me, and he's also a teacher, but he's film teacher, and he did
cool.
film production at Farnham UCA.
I think a few years ago when I was still at college, you did actually talk about him once.
All right, yeah.
I think.
Yeah, he's we've started off quite a few little projects, and he actually did some, what is his suggestion, and I made a video of one of our Empty Trains songs, actually, but we've never actually got it completely finished and edited.
Oh, really?
It was the song, I don't know if you know the song, The Impossible is Possible.
Yeah.
But we did that, and it was coming together quite nicely, but we both had other things on, and it didn't quite ever get fully edited, sadly, but I'm sure it'll re-emerge at some point soon, because we're hoping to work on some video stuff for the band.
You'd have to send that over to me. I'd love to be nosy about that type of stuff. So.
I'm afraid we'll have to finish editing it first.
Yeah, okay.
We will do.
Fair enough.
We will.
Fair enough.
No, when it's done, we'll put it out there, because we're hoping to do quite a few little videos. I don't know if I've ever spoken to you much about my experimental films that I made when I was doing my art degree.
A little bit, a tiny bit, yeah. But go into that.
Because what I'd like to do is quite a nice now, trying to merge ideas that I've done at college with stuff that can be used for the bands as well. I was making for my degree show some experimental films out of still photos, but then putting them in the timeline and adding text. They were almost like a time lapse, but they had text over each frame, and they were running at 2 frames a second, and it was sort of somewhere between a photograph and film, and it was all very experimental. But I was really enjoying it. Then like you were saying a minute ago, I got total burnout as soon as I finished my degree, and then I went and did my teacher training straight after. But so hoping to do some real quite arty videos. I'm hoping we can do a collaboration with you or something.
No, I was gonna say something, and then I was like, no, Harry, wait until he says something. Don't be too eager.
No, that well, you mentioned the idea ages ago, but because of the damn COVID thing, it hasn't happened yet. But that'd be great.
That would be amazing. That would be so much fun. I was doing as I was writing up my notes for today, I was listening to the band as I was writing the notes. And loads of your songs are on my liked songs on Spotify all the time. So
that's very nice.
I end up hearing your voice all the time.
I think you're our biggest fan, Harry.
Oh, bless you. That's me being genuine. It's not me saying, "Oh, there's an opportunity here." That's me being genuine. Generally,
that's very kind.
Generally, when I first listened to it, because I know at college you were saying how much you loved music and how much you write music, and then we just never had an experience or nothing ever, like you never showed me anything. So when Empty Trains sort of started to get real steam and stuff, I was like, oh, let's have a listen to this. And then I listened to the first track and I was like, damn, I was like, this is good. It's good.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it took a while to actually get to the point of, again, finishing off the project. Finish the project is my new mantra, because it's all very well starting a project, having these ideas, but actually, as I'm sure you're very aware, it's actually it takes a lot of hard work and discipline sometimes to get the thing properly finished as best as it can be. But
Yeah, to get something over the line is really hard. So it's like I love the whole shooting aspect of film and writing it, and then it's just the whole editing bit. It's so hard to just get it over the line and say, okay, it's done now, to go away. So
yeah, I find that having a deadline, even if it's a made-up deadline, it's really good to have that. Otherwise, I find things don't get to that point, because you can keep fiddling about, keep tweaking, changing your mind, and but if you have a reason to have that deadline, it helps. Even if even if it's not an official one, like there's anyone else has set you, it does really help, I think, to finish the process, which is very necessary.
And I think because I've had experiences, like bad experiences with actors, where I've shot something and then it's taken way too long to get it finished, and then someone's turned around to me and rightfully been frustrated at me, that go, why is this not finished yet? So I think there's more pressure when you have other people involved, which is a good thing, because then you're like,
I agree.
I need to get this done for them, not even for me, for them. So.
I agree, and I'm a bit sad that the film projects that I mentioned with my friend John, we've done quite a few things, including a little bit of stop motion animation. That was going to be for a music video, but not one of anything that I was involved in. But we had a song that we'd chosen. It was coming along really nicely. It was looking really exciting. And then we just both had too much on, so we had to put it on the back burner, sadly. But I'm hoping that my friend John been a little bit ill recently, but when he's back on top form, we'll hopefully squeeze in some time to do some more work with him and get them finished off, because that'd be really nice to see them done.
Yeah, no, I feel like when you finish university or finish like the education system, you realize how important deadlines are. When you leave that, you end up realizing, going, oh, I don't have a lecturer telling me that you need to get this done by then. It has to be you, very much, especially in the creative space. It's very much that you have to be the one that's hitting you on the back going, keep going. So
self-discipline is not an easy thing, but like you say, when you got other people involved, it helps. And that's partly why we've set ourselves the challenge of doing one song a month.
Oh, really? That's cool.
And that, to actually do that and put it out as a sort of semi-finished track is it's been very hard so far, but I feel quite confident that we'll be able to put 12 out, but not necessarily every single month. We might do maybe a couple in the summer when we've all got some time, take some time off other bits of work we're doing, and then hopefully have 12 songs at the end of the year.
Cool.
A lot of them are inspired by the seasons and changing seasons and weather and things like that. So it might evolve into a kind of an album about this year.
Cool.
Which would be quite interesting.
That'd be good.
Because a lot of the new stuff, the lyrics are almost all written since first lockdown began, actually.
Cool.
So
cool, yeah.
But they're not all. I know some of our songs are very moody, but they're not all completely depressing. Despite lockdown being obviously a bit upsetting for everyone, but
no. I think that's always interesting, though. Yeah, I think if it's something that reflects the time right now, it's always interesting.
I agree.
I think that's why I wanted to do like the short monologues. Well, first I was like, I need to do something short and something that can just get out of there quick, because I haven't directed anything for a long time, so I was like, I need to just get back into this. Like, don't overthink it and just do it. Just try not to overthink it.
And the idea of doing a monologue about the COVID situation or how people have responded to that emotionally is a very good idea, I think, to do. And in a similar way, it was quite fortunate that a lot of my lyrics, even pre-COVID, had evolved from art, sort of visual art ideas, and a lot of it was about people departing and people not being around that used to be around, not just by dying, but by moving away or just by losing touch with people. And that idea of departures has become quite a central part of our songwriting and the actual themes within them. And it just so happens that it does sort of connect quite naturally with the lockdown stuff as well, being apart from people. So
so if like any press or anyone comes up to you going, did you think about this? And you're like, yes, I did, I am a genius, I did think
it was all planned out. I do like to work with a kind of an umbrella theme in mind, and it is in it's covering all the visual art stuff I'm doing and the songs, and it's all based on that. Currently, it might evolve into something else at some point, but it's all based on that sort of departures idea. But yeah, there's another experimental film coming out this year at some point when I think I get to finishing it.
Okay, cool.
So that'd be nice.
Cool. There's lots of there's lots of promises here. I look forward to seeing the many things.
Well, the visual art stuff, apart from the projects with John I mentioned, I've actually teamed up with my younger brother Andrew, who lives in Denmark. We hardly ever get a chance to see each other, especially at the moment. Haven't seen him for about a year and a half, I think. And he's an artist. He's a painter, sort of semi-abstract painter is mostly what he does, but he does some performance videos and pieces as well. But we decided to sort of do a semi-collaboration where we're both we're not working on the same project, but we're both working on a kind of a year-long project, a 52-week project, so the deadline is when that 52 weeks ends. Is not necessarily on the 31st of December, but it's all about the cycles of nature, and everything is part of it. And for me, the departures theme is embedded within it as well. So we're in the middle of doing that. And we're hoping to have I don't know about a physical exhibition with the whole situation, but we're definitely going to have an online exhibition, and hopefully my photo text work is what I've been doing. A lot of my work, photography work, print work, is got text embedded in it as well. So hopefully that'll all be viewable again at some point this year, but that won't be till again summer. But yeah, got quite a lot to fit in, so it's
that's good. I would because I was talking to my partner Mosh, who we were talking about the last time we went to the Natural History Museum the other day, and nice. I said, I was like, when we can and when it's like up and running and when it's up and running again, that we should go to the Natural Life exhibition, the Wildlife Photography of the Year one.
Yeah.
Because me and you went there, well, through college, we went there together as groups and stuff. And I said to Mosh, I was like, it's such an amazing exhibition, to be fair.
Good plan.
Because I think I went twice through with college, I think, and both years it was really impressive.
Very good show. It's particularly the way it's displayed there is brilliant. So they do have the photos from that exhibition. Other places, you're in Brighton these days, aren't you?
Brighton, Worthing, So you see them everywhere.
But I've seen that natural that wildlife photography of the year show. I've seen in Brighton, in a gallery in Brighton, but it wasn't like the one at the Natural History Museum with all the light boxes, weren't they?
They were beautiful. It almost looked like you were looking at like a extreme high definition screen of the picture in those light boxes.
They have a touring version as well, which goes to Winchester, and I've definitely seen it in Brighton, but that is just prints on a wall, just kind of a bit normal compared to this. But it's nowhere near as good as the natural history.
Yeah. And I love how they do like the dimly lit lighting and stuff. It's very like it feels very for quite a large exhibition. It feels quite intimate, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very cool. And the standard of work is absolutely outstanding. Even the kids category, the kind of under 16s or whatever, it's just like mind-blowingly good. Obviously had some maybe had a tiny bit of help from Mum. You know.
Yeah, maybe, but like, Mum didn't help me with this homework at all. No. I wanted to ask, like, how has teaching been like through all this time and stuff? How has that been?
It's been very, very challenging, I think, for the students particularly, but for the staff, it's been hard. First lockdown was a full lockdown as far as we were concerned. Everyone was at home, and I was doing Zoom chats like this. You know, I was chatting to the students once a week, setting them some work to do, and then they just had to get on with it. They didn't have any support like they might normally.
With there,
so that's been hard. And this since back in September, it was actually almost normal because of the nature of the students. That everyone was in fully masked up, all the staff. Students mostly weren't wearing masks, but all staff wearing masks and even aprons and everything, just to keep everyone super safe. But then after went back into lockdown again after the Boxing Day. So since New Year, we've had for quite a while, in fact up to half term, we didn't have any of my students in class at all. They were just on Zoom chats and on the phone. So it's still really annoying, frustrating. Trying to teach photography on the phone is not very easy.
Yeah, no, I bet.
But it's all changing now. So some are back, but not all. But hopefully they'll be back soon as well.
Oh.
Yeah,
no, because
not very easy to do that.
Yeah, because I'm guessing for people that are listening, Colin works at Trelaw College in Hampshire, and I went there and I left there in 2013. Yeah, 13. And
I'm glad you reminded me, because I have lost track of what year that was. Yeah,
it's okay. Yeah, no. Oh, it's scary how quick time goes, isn't it? Really?
Is it really that long ago?
Yeah, it's that long ago. Yeah, wow. I know. I'm glad that we've kept in like contact with each other and stuff.
It's good.
And
really good.
And I did pop back. I think it was after I literally just finished my degree. And
you did, and you showed us your film.
Yeah, and that was before when Hannah. She's living in Spain now, isn't she?
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, I am a bit jealous about that. To be fair, she looks like she's.
Me too.
She looks like she's having a great time.
Yeah. So, the simple life, I think, it's very sort of unmaterialistic.
Yeah.
But just sort of living very sort of humble, simple life in the sunny Spain. Very nice.
Maybe one day.
It's a nice dream. Nice dream.
Yeah.
Something that appeals to me.
Yeah.
I do love Spain.
Yeah, when she told me, she was like, "Yeah, I'm just moving to Spain and going to be a full-time artist." I was like, "Yeah, that sounds like something out of a film. That really does." Do you talk much to her? I
have had quite a few kind of text sort of chats with her, and done a couple of a kind of Zoom type chats. But weird coincidence. Are you talking about Hannah? Because I yesterday sent her a letter for the first time. I'm starting to get back into letter writing.
That's
which
nice.
It's going to be the centre of my new experimental film. Is going to be a letter. So I thought I'd start writing some letters again to people, because it's quite a different thing to having a chat on Zoom to actually writing to them. It's a bit of a dying art, I think, these days with the digital technology and everything we use. But I do like the idea. I do like writing. and so writing a letter to a good friend who you haven't seen for quite a long time was quite nice actually, but sort of sad as well because it's don't see anything of her anymore.
Yeah, no, actually, I think that's a really nice idea. As you said, it's a lot of like a dying art, unfortunately. And I think like when I try and write something, I've discovered that even with my dyslexic brain, I find it way better to get my general thoughts down in a notepad first, and then because sometimes you could be sitting there looking at your blank screen for ages and go, I don't know how to start this. So.
No. So you got a notebook on the go all the time, have you?
Yeah, with like pictures from different films and stuff like that. So
I've got my it's actually an old work diary. You can't see what colour it's bright pink. But yeah, it's an old work diary that I never actually used as a diary, so it's my new my new notepad. I just write down any old nonsense in there goes in there. Yeah. And then I pick out the best bits and use them for various projects.
Yeah. I got so many like weird stuff in there, like an idea for like a TV show, and then like so many different like old ones. And
you got to write it down. You got to just anything that comes out of your head got to be written down in case it gets forgotten, which it will do in my world.
Yeah. Also, it just helps me sleep because then I write it down because sometimes I'm like awake at like 2, and I'm like, okay, I'll write this down, and I'm like, okay, I can sleep now. So
do you actually get to sleep then, or are you a bit of an insomniac?
Most recently, this is how I burnt myself out. This is why I end up thinking about it all the time, and then I think about the project that I'm doing now, and then I think about, oh, which one am I going to do next, or what am I going to do next, and then I like move on to the next one like probably a little bit too quickly, or start focusing on that one before I've even finished this one. So that's why I was like, you need to be like
dangerous.
Yeah, you need to, I need to say to myself, going, no, get this done, and then go to that one. So yeah. Sometimes I think
got to look after yourself, Harry.
Yeah,
make sure you get some sleep.
Yeah, and I've got to make sure that that I actually interact with my boyfriend and say hi and like, how are you, and
definitely,
stuff like that. So is all your family been well through all this rubbish and all that? Have they been all right?
My eldest daughter Amy is up in Manchester with her boyfriend, and both of them caught COVID.
Okay.
But they were kind of okay. They did lose their sense of taste and smell, like they say, and they just felt really, really tired for a couple of weeks. But they're both fine now. But everyone else, family wise and all friends and everything, all fine and well. How about you?
Good. Yeah. Luckily fine. Mosh, my partner, he's a doctor at Worthing, so he's been working on like COVID wards and stuff like that. So we've had to like be safe and stuff like that. And like he comes in from work and he's like, let me shower first and like wash and all that stuff, and then you can hug me or whatever. So yeah.
So vaccinations?
I haven't had mine yet, to be fair. I keep hearing from like some friends from Trelaws and other friends that they're going, oh yeah, I've had mine, and I go, no, not yet. So I'm obviously not special enough for it yet. So
I'm sure you'll get your email or whatever soon.
Eventually.
They managed to do. I was quite impressed actually. Trelaws managed to get the whole of the staff
really
done. We've all had one. Yeah,
that's really good. That's impressive.
That's made it. It's been a little bit less stressful since then because I was really concerned that I was mostly concerned about the safety of students really, but the fact that staff have been vaccinated and obviously students are being, or if not had their first one already. So that's a little bit
that's
really, it would have been.
That's really impressive because that's why I wanted to ask you how that had been, because I was like, that must be quite a nerve-wracking because everyone there is like so vulnerable in their own ways.
Yeah,
tricky.
Students very vulnerable, and if they're working with a support staff very close up, it's very difficult to have social distancing going on, and it's also very difficult for a lot of students to wear masks because of their condition and things. So out of the three things, the social distancing, hand washing, and the mask, 2 out of 3 is not possible. So I think that's why they had to get the vaccines done as soon as possible.
No, that's impressive. No, that's good to hear. No, that is good to hear. No, do you have any students in your batch like now that are like exciting to you or like interesting? Are they doing interesting projects?
Always, we always have
That's good.
some little stars coming through. It's kind of changed over the years. The projects and the actual courses that students are doing has changed a little bit. We were probably when you were there, probably A level was quite a big thing. Not in my group then, but I'm now doing A level. But this year I haven't even got a single A level student actually.
Oh, okay.
Because all the high flyers that are doing sort of level 3 and going on to university are mostly going to mainstream these days. So it's just changing. The college is evolving, and the levels that the students are working at is becoming lower. But having said that, we have got some really very good and very dedicated students. I've also got one that isn't doing photography, he's doing art. So it's the first student I've had at Trelaws. I have taught art and animation and various other things at another college, but it's quite nice having someone that just wants to draw, basically, which which is my first love, and again something that I want to get back into doing, because it's something that I spent a year and a half of my fine art degree just doing drawing, and ended up doing experimental films and photography with text. But drawing has always been a bit of an obsession. But I'm currently not doing any apart from doodling, which is not good enough. But,
not good enough. Well,
can't do
it sounds like
no.
it sounds like you got a decent amount on the go to keep you busy, as you said. So
yeah, I'm definitely doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. No. What I was going to say something else then. Let me look at my notes quickly. Yeah. So in terms of like, do you still have a photography studio at like Trelaws and stuff like that? Because
of course, yeah, we got the studio has moved rooms from when you were there, but it's the actual room behind. It's the one of the music rooms. Is now the photography studio at the moment. So yeah, the actual setup, it hasn't changed at all since you were there. So we're still in the same class, still got the dark room, and we've still got the studio, and lots of nice cameras and lenses. So we've got some lovely equipment there, I have to admit. So really good for students.
I miss doing the dark room stuff, because what are you going to say?
I was going to say that's the one really annoying thing about the lockdown situation, is that we were able to send students out digital cameras or even film cameras to their homes so they could carry on doing their work at home. But obviously having a dark room at home is not going to really going to be very straightforward. Chemicals you need and everything. So I've got 2 students doing dark room printing. May even have to change their unit because they haven't been in enough or to actually complete it. I don't think. Sad, because that's it's quite exciting to get off the computer for change and do something a bit analog, and it's quite a nice process.
Physical.
I think that's really, really important actually, because so much stuff these days is done just on a computer screen the whole time. He says, looking at a computer screen, but it's really nice, I think, to get away from that just from time to time and do something that isn't computerized. And I'm thinking more and more that I'm quite into sort of retro technology anyway, so I'm thinking of getting back into old school technology with my art and photography work, but also music as well. I've got some 90s recording equipment, which is not computerized.
Nice.
It's digital tape, so it still is digital, but it's not screen based, sort of a multi-track tape system. But it's so much easier to do mixing and everything on the computer software. But it's I just quite like the idea of not doing everything on a computer all the time.
And I bet it will end up leading to like interesting sounds and stuff like that, and interesting, even like little mistakes that might sound a bit odd, but still I
am quite keen to do that, but I don't know if Empty Trains are going to be up for doing that, because it's such a slow process in terms of editing it. And like you say, if there's any mistakes, you either have to re-record it really, or
just leave
you can cut and paste things. But on tape, it's very, very, very much more difficult than it would be on a computer screen. But maybe I'll do, if I ever get around to it, do some solo tracks on there. So it's just me, in my little studio room, and maybe just keep it really stripped back and just have guitar and vocals, something really, really, really raw. Quite nice to try that out, because I haven't really done anything that lo-fi for quite a while.
And I bet that would feel quite like intimate and quite haunting, probably.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? But I'd definitely like to give that a go.
Who would you say? Who would you say? And you could say this about the band, but what would you say are the people that inspire you the most, or where do you mainly grab from? Like, do you find
we've got quite a range of different interests and sort of influences between us, but we're all drawn. I think we all kind of got together with the same kind of ideas of creating quite dark but quite moving. I hope quite beautiful places, music, because our influences come from various things. Like for me, some of my favorite music is a lot of 80s alternative music, like Susie and the Banshees, The Cure, Echo and the Bunnymen, and that is very much the same as Hedge. We come from sort of we went to the same secondary school and everything. We kind of same age, and that's our kind of historical thing that we kind of grew up as very sort of young people. But since that, I've got a lot more into things that probably inspired those bands. So I'm really into the kind of more experimental era of the Beatles, like Sgt. Pepper era. So packed with so many really ambitious ideas. It's got a whole wealth of stuff to borrow from, but they're not necessarily sound exactly like them. I've become, even before he sadly passed away, I was already obsessed by David Bowie, but I've become even more obsessed by him since he died. And I've just got hold of all the great 1970s albums up to 1980, Scary Monsters.
Nice.
Brilliant. But other influences are a lot of female singer-songwriters. I'm obsessed with Kate Bush, as are Hedge and Rebecca. All PJ Harvey fans, but also there's other influences coming through. I've always loved the piano, but I've never been able to play the keyboard to save my life. So when she came along, and she's had classical piano lessons over the years, and it is actually having some again now to kind of keep her fresh with ideas. So some of her influences, things like Beethoven, and that's sort of feeding through into some of our music, I think, which I really like, that quite broad range of influences. But for me, I would say the key ones are David Bowie, and probably something like the Velvet Underground as well is a massive influence. Quite simple kind of ideas, simple musical ideas, but then taking them into experimental territory where possible.
The Bowie influence does not surprise me whatsoever.
I absolutely love everything about him and his whole outlook on life, and it's all about the whole creative process. And he's not just interested in music; he's always wanted to he's an actor as well, obviously, but he's always wanted to write music for a musical, and did it eventually did the Lazarus play, which is very soon before he died. But
actually, I was going to touch upon that because I watched the documentary. I don't know if you've seen it, where I think it's called David Bowie: The Last 5 Years or something.
I've seen the whole lot. I've got to be honest.
I watched it the other month, and I was like, this man did not stop until the very, very end, didn't he? Really?
No. I mean, he's massively inspiring to me because he's very, very hard-working musician. He just, like I say, just didn't really stop. I mean, I'm not recommending this to any of your listeners, but he was taking a lot of drugs throughout the 70s, and that was to keep him awake at night, so he could carry on writing songs and carry on recording, which I would definitely not recommend it. But he was doing that purely so he could work more, which is mad, really, isn't it? And, he must have had major burnouts at some point.
After we're discussing it, but like, listen, we don't take drugs. We don't take drugs. We drink.
No, kids don't do it. It's not worth it.
We probably drink too much tea or too much coffee occasionally, maybe. But no drugs. But I really enjoyed. There's a couple of other documentaries that they did centered around that sort of like last few years and stuff. But the one that I watched was really like, interesting. Like when he's sitting down and you're talking about the musical, and he's sitting down and bless him, he's wearing like a hat to cover his bald head, and he's watching the actors do like the first run through of the show while he's, sitting there sick,
Yeah. I mean, that was quite hushed up at the time, wasn't it? And
it was.
Obviously it was being filmed. Everyone knew that he was ill, whatever. But the fact, I think what is really mind-blowingly cool of him is how he managed to come back and record those last two albums after not having released any music for
like
over 10 years.
Something like that.
I think it was about 13 years. Come back, and those last two albums are both brilliant, but the last one is so poignant because there's so many lyrical references to sort of potentially about death, but it may or may not be about death. It's sort of a bit ambiguous,
and the videos are like that as well. Like I was like, whoa! I was like, this. And
he must have been quite ill when he was sort of recording that album, and then to release it on his birthday, 69th birthday, that last album, and I think he died the day after. It's like it's like blows my mind, and I'm sure that was all done on purpose. Like he's making his death into a work of art. That's how cool he is,
because I remember hearing. I don't know if you're like a fan of Blade Runner or.
I did love the original, but I haven't seen it for many years. I did see the new one as well. But,
what did you think of the new one?
Well, it was visually stunning, as you'd expect, but
from Roger Deakins.
It was. I did enjoy it. I've heard lots of people slagging it off, but I'm not obsessed by Blade Runner, but I know quite a few people that are. So they're obviously going to be critical of it. But there's lots of interesting stuff going on, and the ideas behind it are very interesting. I'm becoming more interested in science fiction, actually, and that's even seeping into my lyrics, really. But,
nice. That's an interesting thing to do. No, the reason that I mention it is that I heard that the Jared Leto, the one that plays the baddie in the new one, originally the director wanted to get David Bowie in that role.
Oh, nice!
And I was like, that would have been amazing if that like materialized. That would have been like
that would have been good.
That would have been amazing.
Have you seen The Man Who Fell to Earth? David Bowie?
No, I haven't. I need to
seriously check that out.
Yeah, it's on my list.
He's basically not acting; he's just playing himself, and he's totally wired and everything in that sort of mid-70s era, and he looks incredibly. Sort of not unwell, but he looks very unhealthy. I'm sure he's got loads of makeup on.
Gaunt.
Really thin. And and very, very white. I mean, I've heard stories that for a while he was not eating anything apart from some pieces of red pepper and milk and lots of cocaine. Is that a healthy diet?
Yeah.
Don't do it, kids. No.
No, don't do that at all.
But that's no wonder he looked so alien-like.
Yeah.
Great film though. Great film.
But yeah, no, my like watch list of films that I need to watch, because I use this app called this website, and it's an app as well called Letterboxd.
Okay.
And you can diary all your films that you watch, and then you can write short reviews if you want to, but then also you can put films on a watch list. So
nice.
I've had it for since 2014, and my watch list is like 500 films that I was
going to say it's going to be massive.
So like huge. Yeah, because so many films got suggested at film school and stuff. Like I had this like idiot lecturer that was like, if you haven't watched Citizen Kane, then get out. And I was like, okay. So I have watched that film now.
I've watched it once. I'm not quite sure if it's the best film that I've ever seen in my life.
No.
But, there were obviously reasons at the time why it was so cutting edge. I think I think you have to always look at films or any artwork within the context of the time that it was made. Really.
Yeah. Especially with the times that have changed, like over recent years. You can watch something and go, oh, it's probably a bit inappropriate now, but let's. There's
a lot of racism that you see in films, just sort of casual racism. The terms that people are using, I find it deeply upsetting. But obviously, people are more educated now and more kind of more knowledgeable about these things. Thank goodness.
Do you think? Sorry, I'm going a bit deep here, but do you think that do you think there's sort of positives and negatives to that? Like, there's people obviously know what's right and what's wrong clearly more, but also it makes people afraid people are more afraid to say anything nowadays without maybe potentially, well, not anything, but you know, do you get what I mean?
I do get what you mean, and I do think it's quite a difficult one to call, because I know that I was quite surprised when certain comedy shows, I'm thinking of things like Little Britain and other ones that were touching on racism and were obviously taking the mickey out of it completely.
Yes.
Were actually, I think they've become banned, haven't they, recently? Because there was obviously blacking up and things like that, which I know is going to be deeply offensive. But the fact that they were taking the mickey out of the racists, I thought made it acceptable, and I did actually think it was funny. But obviously, I'm not black, so it's not for me to say, I don't think. And I think you have to put yourself in the position of the person that is offended. It's not for me to say I am white British, so But no, but I do agree with you though. It is it's the same. A lot of issues that are sort of contentious and a little bit. People have very different and quite strong opinions about it. To actually not be able to discuss it within film or any art form is actually wrong, I think. But it depends on the context, really, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is interesting, really, because the last thing you want to do, you know, there's such thing as freedom of speech, but you don't want it to be, you don't want to feel like, oh, there's no such thing as freedom of speech anymore because of those things, you know?
No, but obviously with freedom, you've got lots of people with very differing opinions, and if you allow anyone to say whatever they want and make a film, then you could have some quite nasty, horrible things out there as well. So I think it's about just doing it intelligently and sensitively, really, isn't it? And I know that people have different opinions about things. I get that, but I do think things should be allowed to be said as long as they're done intelligently and sensitively.
Yeah. With good and educated, like deciding, like educated and not oh, we're just doing this to get a reaction or
exactly. Yeah. So I think you can't have anyone just saying whatever they want and making comments that are deeply offensive unless there's some intelligent and sensitive reason for doing it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because art should only be used for good and to break down those stereotypes and those old ways of thinking, really. But yeah,
there's a lot of hate in this world. I'm very, very anti-hate.
Yeah.
I'm a peace-loving vegetarian.
Yeah.
So
I know you are.
No, but I do think things do need to be talked about and discussed, and art is one way of doing that, really, isn't it? But you need to allow people to say what they've got to say, like you suggested.
Yeah, and I think it's quite interesting because if we don't discuss these things, and the generation younger than me, we can't be turning around to our kids or grandkids and go, actually, we can't discuss that anymore. We're not allowed to. Or like, we're too afraid, or not afraid, but like, like, we still need to acknowledge the history of humans and humans' behavior and stuff like that. Would you say?
Yeah, I agree, but I do think.
Tell me if I'm going too deep. It's fine.
No, I like deep, but I do think that sometimes people are not as educated as we might like people to be, or not want to engage with having a discussion about things.
Yeah,
and a lot of people just grow up and don't take on board things that they might have learned at school or college or whatever, but they might have learned their politics or their philosophies of life from their parents, who may be racist, and then you're going to have another generation of people that may be racist, or whatever hate-related thing that people. Because there is a lot of it about still. It's very, very sad, but I think education is the only way forward. I do think education, not necessarily in the classroom, but through things like art, or the arts in general, especially things like film, which are accessible, and even TV. I mean, I'm not a fan myself, but my wife is a massive fan of Coronation Street.
Fair enough.
And she tells me about how they very cleverly embed and interweave all these social issues within a soap opera, which millions and millions of people are watching. So they've got things about transgender, they've got things about gay rape, and all these different issues about racism, all these things that you wouldn't expect to see in a soap opera. They are there, and it's not just Coronation Street. All of the all the
soap operas touch upon stuff like that.
Yeah, they seem to have a part of their mission statement that they will discuss, but quite intelligently and sensitively discuss some quite serious issues.
Yeah. They must
pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah, they must have some very serious long meetings about those things.
And the way it's done, and like I say, I hardly ever see any of it, but I'm reliably informed by Maria, my wife, that it's done really, really sensitively, in like domestic abuse or something like that. It's really dark, and it happens sort of slowly in the plot line, but it's quite cleverly done, and and things like that is really quite educational, because people are seeing it and taking on board the messages that they're saying. So I'm quite impressed by that. But I think I'm not sure if that's just the UK soap operas or if it would go beyond.
I think that's really valuable to do, especially if it's done for a good reason and not for like, oh, this would be more interesting because we touch upon this.
Exactly, yeah. It's not done to get more viewers.
Yeah.
It's done, I think, to try and
or
challenge preconceptions.
Yeah.
There's loads of disability things going on in the soap operas as well. It's really good.
I think sometimes those films or TV or art sometimes, or let's go with film, where they call them the like Oscar bait films.
I see what you mean.
Where it's like Rayman, Forrest Gump, like, you know, those which probably a lot of those directors didn't think about them in that way, but for now, time has gone past.
People are more cynical now, aren't they? About
people see them going,
it's an issues-based thing. It's about racism, so it's bound to get an Oscar. Well,
So
I hate that idea, but
interesting. Yeah, it is interesting. I like the way I was going to lead to something else, and then I've completely gone blank out of my head. But that's what happens with me. But I wanted to sort of like round it off, because I know you're probably a busy man and you have loads of stuff to do, as you've said. But I wanted to sort of cap this conversation off about what, because people that have listened to the beginning of the episode, I played a little clip, a little quote from The Graduate, the classic
best film of all time.
It's so good. It actually makes me doing it today. I couldn't find the exact quote that you wanted, but I found one. Actually, there's so many quotable scenes in that. To be fair. And I was like, I need to sit down and watch this today. Because and obviously the music from Simon and Garfunkel was just like
the whole thing, from the very, very beginning scene with the music to the very last frames with the music. The whole film is absolutely perfect. It's a roller coaster of emotions. It's very anti-establishment at its heart, which I love. And it's funny, it's sad, it's kind of got all sorts of things embedded into it. And the music just puts the icing on the cake, really. Brilliant film.
That's got to be like the best matching from like music to film in history, I'd say.
To me, that's the dream. You know, I'm a massive film fan as well. Probably haven't seen as many films as you, Harry, to be honest. But,
it's all right.
But the idea of merging together different art forms, and in recent years, there's been a few directors. Tarantino's obviously on the list. Really excellent use of music tracks and soundtracks, and it really pulls the whole thing together. I think the Trainspotting as well really did well with the music choices of that. I mean, you know, Pulp Fiction and Trainspotting were, you know, like both sort of 90s films were just when I was just at that time when I was really obsessively into movies and things like that in my youth. But I love that combination because the music is so instant and it evokes a kind of mood, doesn't it? And if you're trying to capture a mood in a film, it's much more complicated and hard to do actually. But if you add music to it, it's a very useful tool and it's a more enjoyable.
And I feel like probably years ago when I first was like, I enjoyed watching films and it would be cool to work in films, I didn't think how much a piece of music can be part of the entire picture, like add another layer to the storytelling and the film in general, you know.
And I think that, like you say, the Simon and Garfunkel Graduate soundtrack does that so brilliantly because it's all especially because it's the same artist doing it all the way through. And they've got like a whole album of stuff, but which, you know, some of them are very famous tracks in their own right. But the fact it all just fits together so beautifully, and that acoustic vibe, I love. I'm a massive fan of their songs and Paul Simon's lyrics. I'm a big fan of. So he's another influence I didn't mention actually.
Yeah, cool. No, cool. Is there anything else that you think like you're excited about down the pipeline in like soon or or do you feel like you've covered everything? the large amount of stuff that you've said that you're working on, or anything particular that people should, look forward to or look out for soon?
Well, basically, I've sort of covered all this sort of, but the things to look out for that I'm involved is Empty Trains tracks coming out, hopefully 12 over this year, and then after the year is up, we will probably revisit some of them and either remix them or maybe even re-record some of them, or maybe even bin some of them if we don't think they're good enough to be on the final album. So the album will be coming out at some point next year. But the track, we thought we'd set ourselves a challenge of actually releasing a version of 12 songs, just to kind of keep us engaged even during lockdown in the creative process or whatever. And then hopefully the Dogfall EP will be out at some point in the summer. Like I said, there's 6 tracks. We'll probably just choose 4 final tracks for that EP. And my brother and I, we got our first of our, hopefully it's going to be an ongoing thing, doing one project a year if we can both fit it in, obviously. But so our first project is called A Sense of Place, and mine is called A Sense of Place Departure, and that is the kind of the name of it's going to be a series of prints and an experimental film, hopefully.
Nice. Cool.
But that's it for now.
That'd be something to look forward to. Yeah, no, that's good. No, and I have to, if the rest of the band want to, you have to all come on as a group and we can talk about.
That'd be lovely.
That'd be good.
If that's all right with you, I'm sure they'd be up to that.
Yeah.
Although I have to say, Rebecca definitely would, but Hedge is, he's, he likes to keep in the background. He's not even in some of the photos, as you may have noticed. He is basically the technical brains behind the band. He's the engineer. He does all the mixing. And he runs the studio, and he has a studio in his house, which is brilliant. But he's not so keen on the idea of being photos or videos. Like
yeah, no, that's fair.
But he may do an audio. He might be up for an audio thing. So
cool.
We can but ask.
Yeah, no, cool. And
that'd be good.
And obviously in the future we look forward to our video together, or videos.
Definitely.
That'd be so good.
That'd be nice.
No, that'd be so good.
Yeah, it would be good to have another chat at some point soon about maybe ideas and things like that.
Yeah. Maybe not recorded. We'll do that privately over the phone or something. But no. And before I forget, and before I go, my mum says hi, by the way, because I told her that.
Hi to your mum.
That I was
been a while.
That I was having her on.
Nice.
And my mum was like, "That's the tall guy with the messy hair, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's him." So.
Yeah, I've got such long hair; it's all swept back at the moment.
Yeah, no,
it's lockdown hair.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, everyone's got lockdown hair, or have a go at it yourself, sort of.
Yeah.
Thing.
Well, I did buy some clippers, and Maria had a go, but I haven't managed to get the old clippers out recently.
Fair. All right, Colin, thanks so much for coming on, and also for people that are listening, I got the link to Empty Trains' Facebook page and Instagram page on the episode. So yeah,
thank you very much.
Cool.
Thanks for having me on, Harry. Great to have a chat,
and we'll chat again soon, hopefully.
Definitely.
And that was my conversation with Colin Zealey. Thank you so much for coming on, Colin. I super enjoyed that. That was probably one of my favourite episodes to do. It was so cool to chat with you about all your many projects that you have down the pipeline, and to chat about film, to chat about a bit of Bowie. You gotta love a bit of Bowie. So thank you so much, Colin, for coming on, and I look forward to catching up again soon, and also possibly collaborating. That would be amazing. Yeah, so good. Such a good conversation. And to end this episode, I thought, well, actually, first, make sure that you go and check out Colin's band, Empty Trains. I've got the link to their Spotify and to their Facebook page. Give them a like. In this episode, I got the links for the both of them. And since, I got the lead singer of Empty Trains on the podcast today, I thought, I might as well end with a little snippet of one of my favourite songs of theirs, and it's called Evelyn, I Hardly Know You At All. So until next time, you guys, take care. Music is not included on YouTube versions of this podcast.